here. I'll always be here.
Man, I get giddy every time I watch that fucking trailer. Alright guys, we are back. We're here to have some fun today. We got Professor Pwn and Sarmatian squaring off for our first matchup of our Warpstone Cup League second qualifier. Let's take a look at the scoreboard of the previous one. We know Demos won the last qualifier, so that puts us on qualifier number 2 here today. We'll have 2 more weeks of qualifiers followed by a final. Now today we've got Sarmatian and Professor Pwn squaring off together. After that we have Hadres versus Gundabad. Hadres did sub in our last qualifier, but I decided to let him come in this one because this is the one he was slated to be in anyway. Gundabad was actually supposed to be in our previous qualifier, but he is now squaring off against his substitute. So in sort of like a weird teacher versus substitute teacher kind of way, things are going to get fucking wild here today. So our first map is the Castle Drakenhof. We squaring off. You can see the seeds and who's playing below. You can see all 3 seeds here today for our first set of matches, then the 5 seeds for our second set of matches after this one here today. Let me sure the guys are ready. So some things that have kind of changed to the rules, and this is not to the tournament rules as a whole, it's just to the overall rules of the game. I've given a 3-minute time limit on selecting your armies. This way it should kind of force a little bit more of a quicker competitive pick. That way you don't get stuck in so much analysis paralysis. It makes the stream itself go a little bit faster, and I'm stoked overall. Let's get things going here. Oh, look at this! That's not what's supposed to be there. I've been streaming a lot of Darkest Dungeon, so I think it's like, oh, did you want to put Darkest Dungeon here? Yeah, it's set to Darkest Dungeon. Whoopsies. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Alright, so we will have the Vampire Counts squaring off against Sarmatian's Wood Elves here. And their both armies are going to be setting up here. Let's see who's in chat here today. Reese's Monkey, how are you doing, dude? We got Misha in the house. Dr. Z's here. Victor's here. Valnir's in the house. I saw that a little bit earlier. Crisps is up in this piece. Gundabad is here. Gundabad is one of the competitors here today. He has his own YouTube channel, so go and check out Gundabad's YouTube channel. It's Gundabad1. You can find him in the chat if you're watching right now. Yeah, if you want to watch Darkest Dungeon, I'll be streaming that on Twitch exclusively. So go on ahead and on over to Twitch. That's where you can find it. I will not be in the actual battle. I decided I'm not going to put my head in. You'll see me only when we switch to screens such as this, but not when we're in screens like this. Screens like this, I'll be there, but screens like this, I'm not going to be there. So let's take a look here at what we got. What the fuck is wrong with me? Hey, you kids want to smoke some Warpstone? So we have some Skeleton Warriors here, nice good front line of Graveguard and Skeleton Warriors, intermixed with Koenigsegg Stalkers here, or Koenigstein Stalkers. Koenigstein Stalkers do have poison attacks, which make them pretty nice, pretty hot and heavy. Let's take a look down the line here. We also have more Graveguard. So 2 units of Graveguard with 3 units of Skeleton Warriors, one of them being the Koenigsegg Stalkers. Oh! Guys, I can't cast the game. There's Vargeists. Vargeists with their fleshy patch of 1970s hair pie going on. Then we also have our lovely Manfred von Karstein. I am riding a zombie dragon, as you can clearly see in this picture right here. What spells did we go with Professor Pone's zombie dragon? Went with Spirit Leech, Invocation of Nehek, and Soul Blight, as well as Raised Dead. The typical kind of kit you'd expect with this big badass. Now he is a very strong pick because he is so tanky. That zombie dragon is so fearful, and on top of it, he has Raised Dead, so he can get into the backline, or at least the quote-unquote backline of any kind of Wood Elves. He's got Invocation of Nehek to heal things up, Soul Blight to help him. Was that Soul Blight? Wait, was that Soul Blight I saw, or is that? Was it Soul Blight? Yeah, it was Soul Blight. Okay, so Soul Blight will help him out with a vast reduction to the armor or weapon strength of things, while Spirit Leech will help him knock out any kind of casters. Now, on the far left flank, we can see 2 units of Dire Wolves, including the Dire Pack, supporting 2 units of Blood Knights and a unit of Furtive Bats. And then for Sarmatian's army, we have 2 units of Glade Riders with... Oh, just 1 unit of Glade Riders with Hackbane Tips, the other just standard variation. We have the Firebark Elders here. These guys are amazing. They do magic damage and fire damage, which is going to be very strong against our Vampire Cone's foe. Now, on top of that, they do have resistance to fire. Vampire Cones don't really field a lot of fire, so this is a really good unit here to really kind of smack around some vampires. Oh, I didn't know they would leave such burning trails. It's pretty sick. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Eternal Guard. Eternal Guard are great anti-large AP units. They have charge defense against large. As a whole, they're really, really, really good just standard line infantry unit. In Warhammer 1, they were some of the best. You can see here the army is starting to already kind of kick off. You have 1 Forest Dragon. You have a whole... Oh my god, look at this mess. Look at this mess. Oh man, so you've got a zombie dragon in there, you've got a forest dragon in there, you've got Hawkeye riders in there, you've got Vargeist in there. Things are going crazy with the amount of wings. There's a lot of Air Force battle going. Hagbane tips ripping through them. He does have to watch out for that back line of Blood Knights that are going to get up in that ass and looking to just pop things. Good God. I'm trying to strike a really good balance between game volume and my volume, so let me know if it... Oh, man, Durthu's just slamming some Graveguard against the ground here. You can just look at this pile of death happening below us. Oh my God. And it looks like the Wood Elves are coming out on top. The Hawkeye Riders are much better combatants than the Vargeists. The Vargeists tend to fall quite quickly here. And a good rear charge from those Direwolves into these Eternal Guard. You can see that the Hagbane, or not Hagbane tips, I'm sorry. The Glade Riders are just kind of running back here, shooting into these Direwolves, kind of keeping some good distance, but we do have a good charge in from the Blood Knights. Now, Professor Pwn's real target here is he's trying to break apart these Eternal Guard so we can get to Durthu to do the real damage. On top of that, the Air Force game is kind of slowly going, or vastly going in the favor of the Wood Elves. Manfred von Karstein is below 50% health. Oh, and he is just getting tanked here. Professor Pwn is in bad shape. Firebark Elders are just ripping a tide through these skeletons over here. This was a really very solid, very simple build that Sarmatian took. He was able to bring down Manfred von Karstein as he lands into these Eternal Guard, bringing the balance of power vastly in the favor of the Wood Elves here. That is a huge boon to the Wood Elves. Anytime you take out a vampire, especially a vampire lord, or the lord in general, for any kind of vampire or undead-based army, it is a huge blow to that army. Now we can see here the Eternal Guard are kind of rallying after winning their flank over here, pushing the remaining of those Grave Guard, and Durthu is just body slamming things, dude. You can just see how fervent he is in just destroying stuff. There still is a pocket of Blood Knights. They're doing quite well, but I mean, it's now going to be just a matter of time for things to overwhelm them. That was pretty hot and wild. Whew. I didn't even need to say that as Spellslinger of Life, kind of healing that entire pocket. You see these Blood Knights jumping in here, leaping into the fray. Everything is just stuck in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you. Another Earthblood kicking off. Getting some heals across the entire battle line. Sword of Daith going in as well. A massive reduction to the armor. Helping to really pop these Blood Knights as fast as possible. But man, yeah, that's you can see the balance of power is just ticking and ticking and ticking. Closer and closer towards Sarmatian's. What else? That was brutal. But I loved it. I love just that furtive bat and feather wing. Just these pigeons are all over the place. There wasn't a branch wraith here, which would have given a nice Windomatic bonus to the Wood Elves. But fighting in the woods always, you know, the Wood Elves' home is the wood, so it just makes sense here. So let's take a look. Man, Professor Pwn pulling up a very quick loss to Sarmatian in the first, what is it? It's not even like 10 minutes. Okay, the first like 10, 20 minutes of the stream here. What else pulling ahead? 167 kills on Durthu as he was just slapping apart all sorts of skeletons and Graveguard. The real fight, though, was with these Hawk Riders, the Forest Dragon, and with that Spellslinger, all against Manfred von Karstein, just putting the hurt into him. Oh man, I didn't think that was going to be so quick. That was kind of crazy. Whew. All right, so their 3-minute timer has started. They're already switching to Bretonia and Chaos. Let's go ahead and switch the score here. The right score. There we go. Sarmatian pulling ahead. Switch that on over. That was wild. Whew. I've had my Subway for the day, so I'm nice and like, well, not for the day. I always eat Subway on some days. Oh man, that was brutal, right? Oh fuck, I loved that. So it's 12:22. Their time is up at 12:25. And again, this is just to kind of create a little bit of urgency behind the picks, and also to kind of create a better flow to the stream. I kind of found that we were lagging in certain pockets with 10-15 minutes of time just kind of eating up with you guys sitting there, and I felt really bad. So I feel like this would really I feel like this is really just kind of add to the action and the intensity. I might increase the wait times in the actual finals. That way, you know, it is a little bit more at stake at that point. So that might be like a 4 or 5 minute wait time. I have not really decided. You should see. Oh, equipment. So one thing Creative Assembly told me is, see this right here? This is just blank, right? This is just a fucking... It's essentially like a PNG is what they told me. And one thing Turner and I were telling them about was how cool would it be if we could get like scoreboards on this. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure we could do that. So if that is what spectator mode grows into, I would absolutely love that. Guys, how are you liking the stream so far? We got 100 people watching in today. Let's make sure you're clicking that like button, thumbing people up, giving a what? Oh, God, I almost threw up in my mouth. Making sure you're giving the proper respect to our competitors here today. All right, they're down to 2 minutes left here on their builds. I don't even know it's 1 minute left. What's up, Rook? How are you doing, man? Good fights, yes. God, I cannot wait for that next DLC. I have a DLC speculation video coming out for the Lizardmen tomorrow, and then we'll be doing one for the Skaven on Saturday, or it should be coming out Saturday, Sunday, Monday at the absolute latest. Oh shit! I'm like cracking down on them time-wise. Totally forgot to change the damn map. Ironsand Desert. Next one is Troll Country. How will the next event be called? What do you mean? Only one match so far from Mike. All right. So again, Professor Pwn versus Sarmatian and Hadres versus Gundabad. We're getting things kicked off here. Sarmatian has already pulled up one against Professor Pwn. So we'll see what happens here in the Ironsand Desert. It's going to be Bretonnia versus Chaos. Bretonnia for Professor Pwn and Chaos for Sarmatian. And we'll see who wins. This is to knock Professor Pwn out of the competition here today if Sarmatian were to win this. But of course, if Professor Pwn does, we'll come down to our... it is a best of 3 here in this scenario, so we'll come down to a third match. The finals are a best of 5, so if it is a little bit more intense on that situation. So look at what we got going here today. Caleb said, whoa, I've never seen Manfred destroy like that. Nor have I. But both armies are setting up. Dude, this map is so cool. Nick and I, Turn and I, always talk about this map and how it's like, it is one of our favorite maps. Like, shit's falling off the damn rocks over here. It's one of the first ones we played on when Total War Warhammer 2 came out. Let's take a look at Sarmatian's Chaos Horde. He has 3 units of Marauder Horsemen. No Masters. Yeah, just 3 units of Marauder Horsemen. And... okay, those knights. And a front line with the Mirror Guard. These are... there's not really any outstanding unit or traits of the Mirror Guard, aside from the fact that they have better stat line than their normal Chaos Warrior, and they're Slaneshi themed. Not enough nipples on their armor, but you know, that's what it is. Now, in addition to that, we've got 2 units of Chaos Warriors with great weapons, which are going to go really, really well against the armored core of Foot Squires that Bretonnia typically fields. Now, in addition to that, we do see Chaos Warriors with halberds, which give you that AP anti-large, which is going to be awesome against any kind of cavalry force you, again, would be dealing with a Bretonnian opponent. In addition to that, we have 2 units, just 1 unit of Direwolf or Chaos Warhounds with poison, and then a unit of Chaos Knights. Now, these are the Perpetual Combat variant. They are not the Lance variant. The Lance variant has a higher charge bonus, is meant to just kind of cycle charge into things. The Chaos Knights, on the other hand, are meant to get up close and personal and kind of crack that nutshell. Now, in the other side of the field, we have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal. Typically in tabletop, metal was the thing that you would bring against Chaos. Dwarfs, well, not dwarfs so much because you had to deal with magic resistance, but you'd also bring it against Bretonnia. It was a great magic. Now, in this case, it's really no different here. You've got the Final Transmutation, which is a great way to do a lot of damage, especially to a single combatant. In addition to that, you have the Dark Fire of Chaos, which is exclusive to the Chaos Lord himself, which is just a gigantic little fireball of doom himself. Now, taking a look, we also have 2 Manticores, which are really great. I think it's like there's 600, 700, or 800 points, and they are just a really good terror batteries to use against Bretonnia. In addition, you can use them to just kind of harass any kind of air force you might be dealing with Bretonnia, which, of course, we do have. Professor Pwn has gone with a long, wide line of Bretonians, trying to kind of take up as much of the field of battle as possible. He's got peasants in the far front, then he's got a unit of men-at-arms, then he's got units of, or just 1 unit of peasant bowmen with pox arrows, followed with a unit of spearmen-at-arms, and then a single field trebuchet, not the blessed trebuchet, and then 1, 2 units of Knights of the Realm, and a unit of Questing Knights. Questing Knights are great against Chaos because they bring that kind of AP variant to a shock cav into the game. Do it. Alright. And of course, Knights of the Realm are your anti-large version of your Knights here, so they're really great to help out with any kind of large beasts of Chaos that you typically deal with. In addition to that, it helps you, really puts a lot of fear of God into these Chaos Knights that I also missed over there. Oh no, those are Marauders Horsemen. We also have Lowen Leoncoeur on his Beacus, supported by a unit of Royal Hippogriff Knights here. These guys are going to cause terror. They're going to have AP, so they're going to be pretty fearful, or fearsome. They actually have a really good matchup right here. They don't have a ton. They have very good niche matchups, and this is one of the ones that they thrive at. We can see these Horsemasters kind of get into the cookie jar already, getting some shots onto those peasant mobs. That's the point of the peasant mobs, is to absorb some initial charges or absorb some initial shots, so no harm, no foul here. Getting these Lance formation pushing up with the Knights of the Realm. Lance formation does increase the acceleration of the unit. Also, it increases their charge bonus and charge speed at the cost of not being able to maneuver so easily across the battlefield. You can see that Lowen and his Hippogriff Knights are moving over to the right, kind of mirroring this Supreme Sorcerer. The Sorcerer, Lord Supreme Sorcerer is the... Oh, and a charge already going in here. We have the peasant mobs hitting into these Chaos Warriors. We have the Field Trebuchet shooting downrange into these Chaos Warriors, going hot and heavy. Look at this, the fearful men of Bretonnia making their big charge. Our pitchforks will defeat you. Oh, man. And as you can see, the whole line has met. Let's get a good overview of the battlefield here. We see those pox arrows have their target in the Chaos Halberds. Oh man, another Air Force battle. Just wings on wings on wings going down over here. What have we popped? We have popped the Lion Shield and Stand Your Ground. That's going to help out with magic resistance and missile resistance from any of the Horsemasters. Horsemasters are getting charged by the Questing Knights and the units of the Knights of the Realm over there. But the Field Trebuchets are still knocking off into the rest of the units, while, oh, those Manticores are just getting the beat down. Sarmatian bringing his Marauder Horsemen into here to try and help win this air battle, and the same thing with Professor Pwn doing the exact same thing on the other end, shooting into the fray here. The rest of the battle, though, is going handedly for the Chaos Infantry, which is to be expected, of course. The Chaos Warriors are a much more elite infantry compared to the men-at-arms that the Bretonnians can field. We have a nice charge in here of Questing Knights into the rear of those Chaos Knights. Will help pop them a little bit easier alongside their Knights of the Realm bros to kind of help anti-large. As you can see, those Chaos Knights are quite done with quite quickly. Oh no! That Chaos Lord just got gobbled up by Beaky, as I see from chat, as well from the Royal Hippogriff Knights. One of those Manticores is down, and the other one is now fleeing. Oh, this is a pivotal situation going on here for Professor Pwn. He has just turned the tide with that. The balance of power has shifted heavily into his favor, looking at about 60% in favor of Professor Pwn and 40% for Sarmatian. Got a large pocket of Chaos Warriors charging into these men-at-arms and these peasant mobs. Really what needs to happen here is, there it is, a charge in from the Air Force into the back of these is going to be just brutal. And here it comes. For the lady brings the Grail Knights down. Oh, holy shit. Oh, man, just look at that. Oh, just destroying right into that hole, all 3 of those units, crippling one, sending one into, it's terrifying it actually, not even routing it. And the other one, the Mirror Guard, is holding up pretty well here. Now, you can see our units of Cav are coming in from the far flank to help reinforce their bros. Oh my god, that was awesome. Can Grail Knights fly? Well, In this, they can. I can't remember if the Royal Pegasus or if the Pegasus Knights had the questing vow or the Grail vow in tabletop. But the Royal Hippogriff Knight is a construct of Creative Assembly. That is not in the... uh-oh. Beaky is going for it. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about your horses. He's going right for them. The Royal Hippogriff Knights, though, are a construct of CA. They are not in tabletop. Oh, just cleaning up those Chaos with halberds. This is a kind of a risky charge for them because they can actually get knocked down pretty quickly. You can see here that these are 4 entities left in this unit with very low health, hence why their health is so low. Triggering Lion Shield yet again. Oh, Foe Seeker. I thought that was Lion Shield. And we're really, the balance power is teetered a little bit more in Professor Pone's favor here. Really just a matter of cleaning up what's left on the battlefield. There's plenty of tools to do so, but both of the field trebuchets have been locked down and shut down. So really it's a matter of using what's left of the infantry and the cavalry force to clean up what's left of the, oh, look at that, of the Chaos infantry force. And there it is. Army losses kicking in. Chaos loses to Bretonnia. Pulling up 1-1 in the fight there. Woo! Professor Pone rues the day. We go ahead and change that score to... Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Actually, I'll jump back to this so we can take a look at the post-battle report. So, looking at the post-battle report, we can see actually that the Hippogriff Knights, like I said, they did their job here. They got 40 kills on pretty high-value targets like the halberds, like that big, huge pocket of 3 Chaos Warriors, which is great. In addition to that, you had Lowen and those Hippogriff Knights helping to just dumpster the Manticore and the Chaos Lord. They weren't able to get anything off there, and that was huge. They shut down a huge portion of their casting. I didn't even see this Damsel of Life. But at the same time, the units of peasant mobs were able to kind of divert some of those initial charges, getting more favorable ones for the men-at-arms, and really, you know, getting those Knights of the Realm charging, getting those questing Knights charging was really the name of the game. And even then, you can take a look at those field trebuchets. They got over 50 kills between the two of them. That's a great little exchange for their worth. All right, 3 minutes on the clock. And the next one is Troll Country. And we'll get that changed over to here so you don't have to see me just moving through menus. Pretty fate. What are the name of the... Are the things not going on? Oh, there we go. Gotta turn on the browser to get those notifications. There we go. Someone asked, what's the name of the lore books? These are just the army books that they released for Warhammer Fantasy. Warhammer Fantasy, of course, being the tabletop game. You have a army book that corresponds to each and every race. So the Bretonnia has their own. Norsk actually does not have their own. They have a White Dwarf supplement. Tomb Kings have had their own. Everyone had their own. Let's see here. You mean Norway? Troll Country? Yeah, Norway, essentially. Actually, it's more like steppes. Or steeps. Whatever the hell. Troll Country's not like Norway. What can one man do? It's a truckless hate. So, we're down we're at 1-1 in the series. Professor Pone taking away the second match for himself. Sarmatian winning the first one. Looks like we're going to be seeing the Empire versus... Empire versus Norska. Norska being for Professor Pone and Sarmatian on the Empire. We'll talk about that, hater. I meant the Troll Country, not Norway. Can you still buy the books? You may not buy the books anymore. You just have to get lucky and find them somewhere. Well, wasn't expecting that to pop up. All right, so we got 150 people watching here today. Make sure you're pressing that like button. Smash that thumb up for me. All right, and we're underway. It looks like both parties are ready to go, and we're good to go. So we're going to get going because we're go. Triggered. Gundabad, you better be on deck, man. Hadres and Gundabad. Gundabad, why'd you change your name on Discord? You make my life so hard. What is deck, my man? God damn it. You just fucking played baseball in your life, have you? That means you're up next. All right. Let's take a look at what we got going here. Again, Professor Pwn on Norska. His favorite voice is Walter Bottlefoot. So we'll do his entire army in the voice of Walter Bottlefoot. In fact, it's oddly... I find it quite eerie that his entire army is already ready to go. So, taking a look at Professor Pwn's army, we have a legion of throwing axes here on the far right side. Then we are mixed in with some... Okay, there it goes. I was kind of worried about his configuration. If you haven't watched Lawmaster of Sotek's RPG, in which case Professor Pwn, Turin, myself, his wife, and Gojira all play Warhammer RPG, I would strongly recommend it. As I roleplay as Walter Bottlefoot, the halfling. Alright, so looks like we're a little bit more set up here. We're going to go over Sarmatian right now. So here's what we're dealing with Sarmatian's army. A nice good spread out here so we can really maximize his use of the board. He has a nice little chevron here, very reminiscent of Hannibal. He has his spearmen in the very front, supported by 2 units of... I'm sorry, his swordmen in the very front, supported by 2 units of spearmen on the flanks. Then he has a unit of handgunners in the back there being able to shoot into things as they charge into the chevron here. Very back, we're also seeing units of halberdiers supported by another unit of spearmen as well, and units of Knights of the Blazing Sun. Now, Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to be really strong here because they're just really strong anti-infantry shock cav. They do have flaming attacks, and that's always a nice little boon to kind of drop in here. And they're also one of the... look how awesome these units are. They are some of the coolest looking units in the game. Where's my favorite one? There's my favorite one. There's my favorite one. Look at that. Those are the eyes that have seen some shit. So let's take a look over here. We also have Royal Outdoor Griffites or just normal? Oh, just Demogryph Knights with halberds. And then another unit of Demogryph Knights with halberds. These ones are the Royal Outdoor Griffites, a Regiment Renown variation thus of. Anti-large AP on these guys. They're going to be really great in this situation. They're going to be able to crack any large feral mammoths, any Wolfricon mammoth, any kind of big creatures that they find across the battlefield. In addition to that, we have a lore master, a Jade Wizard, so the Lore of Life Wizard, as well as our Karl Franz. Lore of Life took what? We have Earthblood and Regrowth, so no tricky spells there as well. Now for Norska, which I'll tell them to do it. Oh my god, what's going on here? There we go. Now for Norska, we have a really vicious sideline over here of Norskan Ice Wolves backed up by Skin Wolves. Not the armored variant, but still they are anti-large, so, and they have Frenzy, so they'll be able to do quite a bit of damage to any of those cavalry units that we saw over there. Knights of the Blazing Sun looking to get an early charge in here onto those Marauders. All Marauders in the front row, it looks like, with some Marauders with great weapons kind of supporting their back. Yeah, Marauders with more great weapons. And a Feral Mammoth, Wolfric the Wanderer, and a Chaos Sorcerer of Metal. Let's kind of see how this goes here. Get a nice view of the battlefield. As you can see, those Knights of the Blazing Sun are moving down towards the center line. The handgunners are already, the silver bullets included, already pushing and shooting into those hounds. Knights of the Blazing Sun have already charged right through those Marauders, utilizing the fact that this is a heavy shock cav. They went in for a really quick pick there, just do some initial damage. See what what Sarmatian is doing. Oh! Those throwing axes just kind of chucking wildly, is just using his advantage, his speed, his superior morale to get any kind of advantage as he can to just, like I said, pick off here. Turns around and immediately charges right into those Marauders. Marauders crashing across the line into those spearmen there. Woo! Right into these as well. Let's see the brace for the charge and everything. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Interestingly enough, I didn't even see this pushing through here. Feral Mammoth just going right through into the silver bullets. He's pulled both units of halberdiers and spearmen into this, opening up his whole right flank. He knows what he's doing because Sarmatian is also plugging that right flank now with Knights of the Blazing Sun. This gives a great pocket of Marauders and Raws with great weapons to push into the back line. The big thing here is, oh, look at Sea Thing just kind of cutting through, is just crushing this Feral Mammoth as fast as possible. Glittering Robe is casted from the Sorcerer of Metal to give it a nice 60 damage or 60 armor bonus that is overcasted. But there are plenty of things to shoot at. Uh-oh, Norscan Ice Wolves coming into this backline here. Screened out just in time by unbraced spearmen who are still going to take that charge pretty heavily, but nonetheless they are going to be a lot better faring than those handgunners were going to be. Or at least these are the silver bullets. As you can see now, the wolves are in the cookie jar. The porridge is just right for them, and they're going hog wild in that back line, eating up any kind of fleeing units. Oh, Searing Doom dropping onto those Knights of the Blazing Sun here. Look at this. Look how just crazy this fight is. Very structured in this portion of it, then very just hog wild right here. Wulfric the Wanderer has kind of broken through with the Sorcerer of Metal. They're pushing through here. The Demogryph Helmet Knights are in really bad shape. You've got Karl Franz just kind of shooting through the back line, slapping the bag, pushing the Franzi all over the place. You can see this unit of silver bullets is still shooting into these skin wolves, trying to put them down as fast as possible, getting those halberdiers in there as fast as possible as well. Getting a nice heal off on these Demogryph Knights with halberds. The great weapons. Look at that! Look at the ravaging hordes of Marauders here. This is a great match. Look how awesome this is. This is very thematic too. The Empire defending their northern bastion, or the northern bastion, against Norska as they kind of sweep south through Troll Country and into the heartland of Nordland, of what the hell's that place called? Kislev, stuff like that, into the northernmost portions of the Empire. And really, the Norska is winning out on the melee battle on this front. This one is just started to teeter into Norska's favor, as you can see. You've got some Axors coming up through the reserve. Silver Bullets are kind of trying to get some distance in between their opponent and then to shoot onto them, but they are really, really getting pressed here. Karl Franz is looking for a good opportune moment. The Feral Mammoth has come back. That Shimmering Robes, Glittering Robes, really helped to keep that in the fight a lot faster. Those Feral Mammoths don't have great morale, and they can get focused down quite quickly, and it was really an all-in bet. Professor Pwn trying to get that mammoth in there, do a lot of damage, and Sarmatian did a great job of trying to divert towards it, but then Professor Pwn did a better job of keeping that mammoth in check. Oh man, Karl Franz is on Wulfric. Just dropping Galmaraz down. Really, this is the main fight here. If this goes down, it's not going to go good for Norska, but Norska is winning in the balance of power. They have a much better infantry force against the men-at-arms, or I'm sorry, not men-at-arms, but just the standard spearmen going on. Oh, Foeseeker, Fight or Die, and Glittering Robe all kicked off on Wulfric here, trying to get some damage. Your Hunter of Champions is knocked off on Karl Franz. Massive reduction to his speed, armor, and melee defense means he's going to take a lot more damage from Wulfric right now. But he has triggered the Rickland Rune Thing, and he has just gotten a beautiful regrowth casted upon him, and that is going to send the Master Wulfric the Wanderer fleeing into the night. Karl Franz staying on him here, making sure he flees all the way off the table. Professor Pwn is in a sticky situation. He has now won the majority of the infantry game, and I take back my previous statement. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up these Royal Altdorf Griffites, these men-at-arms, that Jade Wizard. You have a pretty weakened already Karl Franz, which is going to get just plucked apart by some throwing axes. I think that this might be going pretty handily in the favor of the mighty Professor Pwn. I am Wulfric, son of Wulfric. I cannot stop watching Last Kingdom. I've watched that show 2 or 3 times over. Uh-oh. Karl Franz pouncing onto the Feral Mammoth here. If they can keep getting regrowths off and any kind of Earthblood onto Karl Franz, oh no! Oh no, they're a massive issue with leadership right now. There goes that Shaman Sorcerer of Metal. That goes the last little vestiges of the pillar of your leadership for the Norskins. This is not good. Although Professor Pwn has won the majority of the field fight, there is now the nuisance in which is Karl Franz to deal with. These throwing axes are almost completely out of ammunition. So really it's going to be a matter of bringing down Karl Franz as fast as possible. Sarmatian is staying on the Shaman Sorcerer to get him completely out of the fight. These throwing axes are trying to get into any kind of damage as possible onto Karl Franz. Oh no. Balance of power, though, is still heavily in the favor of Professor Pwn. Oh, and there it is. Army loss is kicking in. And Sarmatian loses to Professor Pwn as it pushes Professor Pwn to the next round and Sarmatian out of the tournament. But a huge, huge game there. That was a lot of fun. A really unique build with bringing Knights of the Blazing Sun. I don't get to see them too often, but holy crap, that was awesome. We also got a lot of really fun Marauder play. Not any kind of elite Norskin infantry. No Marauder Chieftains, no Famir, no Berserkers. Just simple Marauder play with the great weapons reinforced by a lot of Norskin Ice Wolves, or Ice Hounds, Barrel Mammoth, and Skin Wolves. Really did well for Professor Pwn here. So huge, huge, huge GG to both gentlemen, Sarmatian and Professor Pwn, as Professor Pwn moves on. All right, so let me set up the next game here. We'll go ahead and press this button so I can set up the next screen. Remember, guys, this is a 4-week tournament here. Let me get our next competitors involved. Okay. Fight lobby. Gundabad is joining in here. We're getting Hadres as well. We'll get our next one going. Where's the Skaven in this Warpstone Cup? You know, it's a good question. That is a great question indeed. Okay, just give me a second here, guys. I'll just kind of tinker with all the scores. All right, and then the bracket real quick. Have Professor Pwn moving on. I am the king beyond the wall. All right. Oops. There we go. And as you can see, Professor Pwn moving into the next slot. Hadres and... Or Hadres. I always fuck his name up. And Gundabad... Oh, sorry. I got a notification in here. Hadres and Gundabad squaring off in our next match here. Let's get them into the game and we'll get going. Get things going. We'll be going back to Castle Drakenhof. For our first round here. You knew nothing. When did you say you were coming to England for the next Everchosen? I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I don't know. But I really don't know. I always forget that Jean-Claude Van Damme was in Street Fighter. You should host in that crab suit. So if the next thing is indeed Skaven and Lizardman, like we were thinking, I'm gonna like request that there be some sort of ridiculous Skaven costume for me. I will lead into a game with a Skaven voice. I don't give a shit. Come on, don't be a tease. No disclosure, be damned. I really don't know. I was just fucking around. Man, my fucking beard is like itching the shit out of me today. Having a little issue getting Hadres involved here. 1 second, guys. How about a ridiculous T-Rex costume? Well, I mean, I'll allow it. Use beard oil, it will stop itching. No, it's not itching. It's just like, it's been up in my nose and down in my mouth lately, and I combed it, and sometimes it happens when it gets dry here. My beard gets frizzy. I've got shit tons of beard oil. I love fucking beard oil. Like, it's funny because, like, beard oil is just like, you look at other things, it's like, oh, you know, a moonlit path by Bath and Body Works. Look at beard oil and it's like, rough gravel scent, freshly laid asphalt. You're like, oh, fuck, all right, yeah, I'm down with this. Professor Pwn, how many lights do you have? How many likes do we have? $68? Guys, we need to pump those numbers. Those are fucking rookie numbers. Let's go. Out of 150 people? Let's go. So, our first match is going to be Gundabad as the Greenskins versus Hadres as the Dark Elves. They have 3 minutes. There's a mix-up on game name password. They've got 3 minutes to choose. It's 12:56 screen right now, so at 12:59 they will be, well, I'll just say at 1 o'clock. Like or be branded a heretic. Brother! I know your name, brother. You are the Emperor, and you come in the night with peanuts touching my butt. Emperor, it's not even Christmas. What are you doing in here with KY sex jelly? This is what I imagine the Imperium's actually like. You know, Professor Pwn is a great guy, you know. He just sold the stream better than I did, and I am in sales, and this is my livelihood, or was in sales. That got lewd really fast. Dr. Z, what the fuck, man? It's like you don't even know me anymore. Yo, 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 what's up? EPA 17. Go fuck yourself, Professor Spone. Spone. Professor's Spone. Brother. I'm making sure it's actually Drakenhof. There we go. Language, you said go. What? You have to bring him back to Earth. You had no to keep him in check. Professor Pipes is here from XMT, guys. What kind of sales are you in? Car salesman? No, Professor Pip. Enterprise level software sales, but I don't do it anymore. I quit so I could do this. Who's Jonathan Keeble, Noah? Is it the guy who did Space Marines? Steel Rain. Like that guy? I think that's kind of like everyone's generic Space... Although the best voice for Space Marines ever was Mark Strong in the game Space Marine. That game is so fucking good. Guys, Professor Pwn did win our last match. He streams a lot of Magic the Gathering Arena. So if you want to see some MTG Arena, you want to see some Blood Bowl, you want to see any variation of games, he even does some Total War Warhammer, go ahead on over to his YouTube channel. Gundabad 1 also has a YouTube channel. Go and check out his as well. Actually, I think a lot of people on here. Sarmatian, do you have a YouTube channel right now? I don't think you do yet. I should 1v1 the winner? Why? I don't want to have... This is my stream. I don't want to publicly display myself getting just my shit pushed in. That's what you watch my quick battles on my channel for. That's where I lose. All right, we're good to go. We're going to square off on our first match here. Again, Greenskins versus the Dark Elves. The voice for Hell's Reach. Really? Oh, fuck. See, I haven't watched or listened to a lot of the audiobooks. The only real one I've listened to is Garo and the sequel to audiobooks to Garo. I haven't listened to a lot of them, a lot of the audiobooks that are actual books, because I just prefer reading them. When do I usually do quick battles? I did one on Tuesday. I have one going up tomorrow, another one going up on Friday. Or are you asking what day/time? You know, I like audiobooks, but I don't have long enough of a commute or anything like that to justify them, so... Noah Johnston, I watch them every time I paint. So every Thursday, I get away from the computer, and I just sit down and I do nothing but model and paint. Model for myself. I like a still life, and I have the cats paint me. You shoot quick battles live, sorry. Sometimes Professor P. I won't the next 2 weeks, but I have in previous times, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, crisps. Crisps. All right. Sanctus Reach. What's that again? Isn't that the is that the app, or is that the just tell me what it is. I gotta focus on that. All right, looking at our Dark Elves with Hadres here. We've got some Blackheart Corsairs with hand bows. Plenty of those. We've got a total of 3 units of them. Yes, 3 units of them. Supported with some Dark Riders Repeater crossbows up in the front, and a unit of Dark Riders with shields over here. Then a unit of Slaanesh Harvesters, the Doomfire Warlocks. These guys do have there are 2 bound spells. Word of Pain, as in addition to Soul Stealer. Soul Stealer allows them to take a lot of damage. And the nice thing here is they have a physical resistance of 40. Now, oh god, he looked right at me. It's like he knew I was talking about him. Now, the nice thing here is that that physical resistance against the Greenskins is very, very, very hard for the Greenskins to deal with. So this is a really, really good pick here. In most things in general, you almost always want these Doomfire Warlocks, but especially here, they can do a lot of damage. Now, as far as the backline goes here, we're going to be looking at Sisters of Slaughter, which are great here. They're going to do a lot of damage as far as really just being able to get up close and personal. They'll be able to have a lot of dodge capabilities, which again gives them that's Warzog, which gives them again physical resistance of 20%. Hard for the Greenskins to deal with that. Guys, it's the Hellebrunner. In addition, we also have another unit of Dread Spears and the Regiment Now version of Witch Elves, the Sisters of Singing. Now, I had dwarves. Oh, sorry, I was looking at some of the chat there. In addition, we have one more unit of Dark Riders with shields. And who do we have? Is this? No, this is Malekith himself on Seraphon. What spells has Malekith taken here today? The Great Power of Darkness, which allows him to sacrifice his own health for some winds of magic. He also took the Destroyer. Now, the Destroyer is a great pick here because he can use it and he can force the Wah ability to be on a recycle and have a little bit of a 15-second recharge on it. So it prevents it from being used as aptly as it would otherwise. Now, you also have Gaze of Malice, which will do a lot of damage because it does a good amount of damage to lightly armored units, which the majority of the Greenskin front line is. Now, you also have Soul Stealer, which again allows you to take damage. I'm going to go ahead and tell them to get going. Gundabad, on the other hand, has gone with Forest Goblin Riders, Mangy Marauders, more... Oh, look at that. Some sneaky Dark Riders in the corner there. Some Savage Orc Boar Boys. Oh, shit. He said this is a meme build, and a meme build it is. Tons of Savage Orcs. A giant... You got Wurzog on his... Oh, man. On his Pig of Doom there. Look at that little guy. Wurzog took... Wah, of course. He needs that. Where is it? Ah, Foot of Gork. Here we go. Fist of Gork. Did he take all of them? And Gaze of Mork. Quite a few spells there. Also has a Night Goblin Shaman here, but I was going to say not much archery in the ways of the Goblin firing line or anything of the sort. So this should be a really interesting fight here to see how these Savage Orcs deal with a lot of the quote-unquote line. Oh no, their effort you have to get is kicked off against Malekith here. Now, this would be really, really, really good against a Goblin firing line, but that isn't present. So the Mangy Marauders are going to have to be doing the majority of the damage here, and we'll kind of see how this goes. It's not going to be a significant amount of damage as it would for the Goblin firing line. That could delete Malekith quite quick otherwise. And the real thing about these Black Ark Corsairs with handbows is, if you take a look at their speed characteristic, it is a whopping 40 compared to all of the Orc Boys, which is 31, and the Savage Orcs, which is 37. So the Black Ark Corsairs can actually kite things back and shoot things while running away from their foe. In addition to that, you do have these Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, which are also going to be doing the same exact thing here. You got some conflict on this side of the field, though. Dark Riders smashed up against these Savage Orc Boar Boys, which are really going to rip them up. And also, the Orc Boar Boys have gotten into this unit of handbow. Jesus Christ. Handbows. Now, this is what the Spearmen are for. Getting in there with those cavalry units and helping mitigate that damage as much as possible. You can see here that he now has to... It's forcing his hand into using these Savage Orc Boar Boys, into using his Skirmisher Cav to just trample down and ride through some of the handbows. Really what's happening is those spearmen were used to kind of screen out those charges. Look at this. Look at this. There's just a slaughter just going hog wild. Handbows shooting through. And I'm sure the Destroyer was used probably pretty early. A Word of Pain kicking in over here, which is a reduction to melee attack and your accuracy, so these guys are not going to be very effective in this pocket over here. This giant is taking a long time to kind of get its use. Oh, here we go, it's kicked off as well, so a nice boost to the 44 to melee attack, increasing likelihood of things actually hitting. In addition to that, though, that giant is just taking his precious time to get over to this fight. You can see that Malekith is hunting for some bacon here, finally falling onto Wurzog. Dark Riders in the background, cleaning up some of that action over there, focusing on the Night Goblin Shaman. Kind of pan up here to get a better look at the battlefield here. So we can see that the Dark Elves are really playing a lot of hit and run, right? They're using their Black Ark Corsairs with handbows to good advantage, getting as much range as they can, soloing out these individual units that are kind of isolated and just bursting them down. In addition to that, you have the Sisters of Singing Doom and the Sisters of Slaughter kind of roving around the battlefield, picking off fights and doing as much damage as possible. The big fight for them right here is going to be... Oh, man, look at that breath attack in those Savage Orcs, completely deleting that unit from almost full health to damn near nothing, and now fleeing off the field of battle against the Hellebrand Eye. In addition, though, we have one unit of Savage Orcs, which is in great shape. Savage Orcs, one thing I did not mention is they have War Paint on them, and that confers a 25% physical resistance to them. So there is a lot of physical resistance swimming around this whole battlefield right now. The giant is being focused by everything. It's just going to slap apart those Sisters of Slaughter, but really those spearmen are going to be able to stab that thing in the butt pretty hard. You got Malekith taking chomps out of its ankles as well. Sisters of Singing Doom here have rampaged Wurzog, allowing it so he can't cast any spells or get out of this engagement, but the Savage Orc Boar Boys are in there to kind of help the day. There it is, Malekith taking to the air, kind of seeing his new target in Wurzog. And here's the thing. I don't think I've seen Wah kick off yet, or I've missed it, but it's a pretty evident effect above the banners of everything. So Sisters of Singing Doom doing their use here, getting into Wurzog now, trying to pop that cookie jar. The Giant is below half health, or about at half health. The balance of power, though, is shifting in the favor of the Dark Elves. They have won a lot of their major engagements. They still have a little bit of ammo left on these Black Ark Corsairs with handbows. The Sunish's Harvesters are in great health, and they can really mop up the rest of these two units right here and help take out the rest of the cavalry skirmisher forces. God damn. My brain just can't think today. Wurzog, though, still alive. He can get that wall off. Oh, Fist of Gork. Oh, and by fist I mean foot. Clearly not a fist. Just smashing apart both those units of, that one unit of Spearmen and that unit of Sisters of Slaughter. FGO to get on the Sunish's Harvesters, a good target just to kind of get some, kind of slow them down a little bit, get better, more opportune charges. Again, FG to get it works a lot better when you have like a Goblin firing line to just focus fire damage here. But you can see that they went from pretty much full health to now under half as things kind of focus in on them. Getting some good charges in from these Orc War Boys and from these Skirmisher Cavs, trying to focus these guys down as hard as possible. It looks like we're probably out of charges of Fist of Malice here, or Gaze of Malice here. Fist Gaze, Boop of Malice. Word of Pain here, though, as well. Try and keep some takey value into those units of Sunish's Harvesters. Getting those Dark Riders to charge in there as well. That Giant is still roving around, trying to get some value out of himself. Oh, look at that guy, man. He's got Soul Stealer on him, helping tank some damage in there, getting some replenishment going. Sunish's Harvesters have a new target, though. They're just going to go solely after Wurzog. You guys got... Get back here? Yeah. Get back here! Figured off, getting them some nice leadership. The Sunish's Harvesters will be able to put down Wurzog, assuming they don't tank in leadership. I think they're probably going to do a Soul Stealer on themselves on Wurzog here. Oh! Gaze of Gork. Gork. Alright. This is probably going to be it. Those Singing Doom, they can lock down that Giant, but those archers are going to be able to pick it apart. Oh, got a... Oh, dude, this thing just got hit in the face with bad breath. And there it is. The Greenskins fall behind the Dark Elves. That was a great first battle. Hadres brought a really, really dynamic build with those Black Ark Corsairs with handbows. And Gundabad, although he went with a more of a Mimi build, it did do a lot to deliver a lot of damage to the otherwise unmagic damage dealing army of the Dark Elves. Not a lot of things could take care of the Savage Orcs as quickly as if they had just been like Orc Biggins and the such. But great build from both our opponents here. I did like that variation on both these armies. You know, you don't usually see a Savage Orc meme build do as well. You know, usually it just kind of gets crushed every time you do the kind of meme route. But it was a good battle overall. Wurzog doing some heavy damage with both that Gaze and that Foot of Gork. But Malekith, you just can't. That's Seraphon, man. He's just so hot and horny. 113 kills out of him. 145 from the Sisters of Singing Doom. Or, I'm sorry, from the Sisters of Slaughter. And then 143 from the Cotton Candy Throwing Sunish's Harvesters themselves. So a great, great, great first battle there. Let's do that. All right. 3 minutes are on. I'll switch the map. Let's get our next map going again. Ironsand Desert. Farts for the Fart God. Well, come on, Tease. Gah. You're supposed to be the chosen one. Right. That is a 1. And it is, unfortunately, a little confusing here. Gundabad is on the left and Hadres is on the right. It's opposite of what our scoreboard is. What Legend Builders do you want to see in the upcoming Rat vs. Serpent DLC, says Luke. Ikitclaw, because Ikitclaw is basically a Space Marine librarian. I think everyone really wants to see Gorrock. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want Nakai. I don't want Nakai if Nakai isn't going to come with Albion. It would feel dirty, right? And Albion cannot come as like a, oh, here's the FLC, we've added in Albion. Like, it's got to be its own DLC that has like a mini campaign around Albion or something that, like some objective around Albion. I don't want to just get Albion as a place on the map. I want it to have some worth. So I don't want it to be. I don't want it in this DLC or FLC at all. Maybe hint towards it coming in another one, but I don't think it should be in this one. Gorok would be cool. Croak, you'll hear my thoughts on Lizardmen. I think 10-1 makes the most sense if it's Lizardmen versus Skaven. Who the fuck wouldn't want Red Crested Skinks, huh? No. Not Albion as a faction. Not Albion as a faction. Albion as a... So, in Shadows over Albion, the campaign that came out from Games Workshop, you didn't get Albion as a faction. You got two casters, Soothsayers and their Dark Emissaries. Dark Emissaries allied with factions that are evil, and they could summon a Bogfen monsters. And then the hey, thanks for subscribing. The other cats would then ally with all the light aligned, the good aligned factions. So it was all about a campaign to control Albion. Everyone had a stakehold in all the many corners of Albion. Elizabeth had a lost temple city there. Dark Elves set up a massive camp there, and so it was a really cool kind of overall campaign. That's what I would like to see. I would not like to see an Albion faction. I think that would be poopy. But I spend a lot of time on eBay buying my Warhammer models nowadays. Oh man, I was gonna buy like Vanguard veterans, and it's like don't forget to place a bid on these. I'm like, God damn it, stop it, eBay! Don't enable me so easily. But I think 10-1 and Red Crested Skinks would be the most fun. No, not a mini campaign in that sense. Just like a mini set of objectives. Like, okay, if you go to Albion, you have a quest associated with it, or maybe even a quest battle for something in there. Like something that I don't want a mini campaign that's separate from Vortex campaign. I really like Vortex campaign. All right, we're kicking off things here. Gundabad is going to be playing the Dwarfs, and Hadres is going to be the Skaven in the Warpstone Cup. That's awesome. Profit of Sotek. All right. Ironsand Desert going hog wild yet again. Where are the red host? Chakwa is where they hail from, so the northern greater jungle. Blue versus red. Communists versus good old USA, I gotta say. I know, only... Fuck, dude. Jesus. We'll wait till both of our armies kind of line up here before we take a look. Man, Hadres he's trying to win this one. Oh, man, that's a lot of death. I could actually see Tic-Tac-Toe. I think Tic-Tac-Toe would make a really fun. Hey, Terrorist, thank you very much, man. I appreciate your donation, dude. I just saw that kick off there. Hopefully you enjoyed Malekith telling you I've only just begun. This is, after all, my full-time job nowadays, so it is my fucking livelihood. That is a great name. I just got an email for what your actual full name is, Teros. Great name, man. Gotta say. I'm not gonna shout it on the stream. His name's Michael Bublé, guys. Michael Bublé donated to the stream. He came out early this year, ahead of the holiday season, just to donate on the stream. Alright, so we're pretty much set up over here. We've said this so we're blue in the face. The big thing with dwarfs is layers of onions. Well, we're not almost set up at all. I lied to you guys. Look at that fat stack of dwarf warriors. So, as we can see here, Gundabad is lining up with the Mighty Sword blasting charges in the very front. Against Skaven, that is extremely strong. Against normal units, still very strong, but the blasting charges are going to be able to do a lot of damage, a lot of shock to the morale of the Skaven here, so we can see this being used to great advantage. Let me zoom in on our little bros. They just remind me of kobolds from from Warhammer. Or, I'm sorry, from World of Warcraft. No, take candle! Then we have the Norgorling's Iron Breakers, which are the Regiment Renowned version of the Iron Breakers. Iron Breakers are probably my favorite unit in the Dwarf roster here. Now, these guys have charge defense against all. They also have those satchel charges that the Miners have. And they're extremely tanky. 125 armor. They're in it to win it, especially with 36 melee attack. Their weapon strength is still 32. These guys are 86 melee defense. They're going to be in it for the long haul. By the end of the game, we should still see these guys here. Of course, if they don't get focused down. Now, I hope he went with more Iron Breakers. No. No, he didn't. So, flanks secured by Dwarf Warriors. The backline secured by more Dwarf Warriors. We have some Miners with blasting charges on the flank over there as well. In the center, we have Dragonback Slayers, which are looking to kind of fill out any kind of charges that come into the cannons and the Grudge Bearer. Yeah, the Goblobber and the Grudge Thrower here. We have 2 units of Quarrelers. Quarrelers are really good in this situation here because, you know, they still have the fighting capabilities of a Dwarf Warrior. They're just a Dwarf Warrior with a crossbow. All right, these are Rangers. God, I'm so fucking stupid sometimes. Yeah, so these are all Rangers. And the nice thing is they all have stock, so they won't get any early shots on them. In addition to that, though, they have a nice 160 range. They will shoot over their front line. So that's a really great advantage here because when you use Thunderers, you do have to get a better line of sight going. Now, as for our... we have 1 Runesmith, 2 Runesmiths, as to be expected. And then the Slayer King himself, Ungrim Iron Fist, looking to just deal some heavy damage, anti-large AP, the Slayer of Foes, all far and wide. Now for our Skaven, let's just take a look here. We've got Gutter Runners on this side and Gutter Runners. Oh, Death Runners on this side. Now Death Runners are extremely good against any kind of Dwarf infantry because they sunder armor and their AP, and they have a pretty good melee attack of 30. They also have Concealment Bombs and Dodge, so they have a good physical resist, and they can get out of combat quite quickly with that. In addition to that, in addition to the rest of our Skaven army here, let's take a look. I'm going to tell them to get going. We have, what, Plague Monks? Yeah, Plague Monks in the very front here. Plague Monks are a nice AP. They have low armor, but they have really great AP, just anti-infantry. The Sensor Bearers are the AP variations of them, and the Sensor Bearers are also anti-large. Now, those Plague Monks there are going to be doing a lot of damage to that front line because they also have Frenzy. They'll be going hot and wild there. Now, we also have Clanrats with shields, kind of smattering in between these guys, which is a good choice. They'll be able to absorb some of the range fire coming their way. And the very back, we have 2 units of Clan Rats supporting a Plague Claw Catapult, another Plague Claw Catapult, and then a Warp Lightning Cannon as it charges off. You already have the Goblobber shooting into it. Whew! It's got its target. Oh, launching away. Oh, man. We also have a Plague Priest on foot over there, and looks like Lord Skrulk? No, Queek Headtaker, which is a very, very thematic choice here. Queek Headtaker hates himself some dwarfs. You can even just see that little pick right there is called the Dwarf Gouger right there. Boop, 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 boop. But you can see those the Goblobber has already got its target in the Warp Lightning Cannon, already smashing one of them to pieces. The Goblobber is great at taking out the artillery of other foes. Now, unfortunately, when you have a situation like this, when you've got 3 artillery pieces against 2 artillery pieces, it becomes a game of artillery versus artillery. Gundabad should not be focusing on firing into the artillery. He should focus on firing into the infantry. But the infantry is conveniently located behind this ridge here. Really, the only targets are for the Plague Claw Catapults. And the Plague Claw Catapults have a good target in the Dragonback Slayers. They've got no armor, so this is a good choice for them. They do have minor resistance towards ranged weapons, but that is not, of course, the case for Plague Claw Catapults. Oh, there it is. Also get a nice physical resistance of 20%. I don't know if they meant to take Queek versus Ungrim, but that's what happened. Miners with blasting charges getting mucked up here by these Clan Rats with shields. Alright, oh, Death Runner's getting into the back. Good target on Gundabad, going right for the Goblobber here. And Hadres, you know, not a new person to the competitive scene, immediately drops them from their artillery pieces and moves them, trying to push them into the Dragonback Slayers so they can get involved in that charge a little bit quicker and faster. They have popped their Concealment Bomb to help them get out of the situation, to get back into stock, but you can see that it is taking quite a toll on them. All those blasting charges ripping into those Death Runners, but they have done their job. They have shut down the Goblobber. Oh, man, you can see the Plague Claw Catapult has got a new target in its Rangers, shooting these bad boys apart. The Gutter Runners did a good job of just triggering all the stock mechanics on these Rangers so they could be seen better, juicier targets for the Plague Claw Catapult. Now, a good call here for Hadres is that he went... Man, I got that completely mixed around because I was looking at the scoreboard. He's going directly for Gundabad's Runesmith, and Gundabad is doing a good job of just making him run away, making trophy heads wear down a little bit. I mean, Queek is not fast. He only has 40 speed, which is pretty good for a unit on foot, and that Dwarf Runesmith is going to outrun him, but he was able to at least mitigate some of the damage from trophy heads and then pop his own Rune of Negation. You can see, though, that, oh, look at this bad boy. Ungrim is in the thick of it. A summon of Plague Priest has just happened. The Norgrim and the Ironsbreaker are in the thick of this fight. They have just chucked some satchels across the way right before they charge in, doing a heap of damage. Oh, melting through these Skaven slaves, clan rats, and plague monks. Oh, man. Plague Claw Catapults, so doing a number. Shooting into the Norgrim Ironbreakers, which are, again, not an ideal target for them. The Warlock Engineer is in there too. Warlock Engineer does do AP damage, so this is a good target for him, but not alone it's not. And you can see here, the Quick Head Taker does have his query in sight. He is taking the head of this Runesmith. The Runesmith is, about to fall. He is, what? 349 health. He is done for, pretty much. Quick will have his way with him. But as we can see, the majority of the Dwarf front line is winning out against this Skaven front line. The, boom. Well, those Warp Lightning Cannon guys dropped off their battery because they actually lost all of them, and only one left on these guys as well. And you can see this unit of Plague Claw Catapults is just kind of shooting all willy-nilly. But the Skaven are in a situation here where they have lost the majority of this infantry fight. Really, Queek is alive, but it doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot of good for him. Hadres was able to push the Goblobber back into place, or the units back into place. He's bringing in some Plague Monks to help knock that out, because the Goblobber was still firing down range, knocking apart siege engines. For the most part here now, the Dwarfs kind of have free reign of things. There is this pocket of Skaven resistance. That is, they're just Skaven slaves against a unit of miners, so there's not much going on here. Once Ungrim finds a new target, though, it's going to be some serious ass penetration. Why did I say that? Skaven just kind of moving as a red horde across the battlefield, trying to find new targets. Dragonback Slayers ripping through some clan rats. Where are Norgrim Ironbreakers? Right here? Yeah. They're just marching their way down, taking those Plague Claw Catapult shots to the face, moving slowly but surely. Ungrim is just chopping up that Warlock Engineer. Last Runesmith over here with this unit of Dwarf Warriors, and Queek has got another. I'm gonna fetch some Mind Bleach. Queek has got another target here. He's going right for that second Runesmith, trying to just rack up that tally here. Uh-oh. Yep. Rune of Negation kicked off. We're gonna get some heads. Oh, get Ungrim on Queek. The battle must happen. Oh no, Trophy Heads is on that Runesmith. That is not going to be good for him. Gundabad is holding on here. The balance of power is still pretty even, if not slightly in the favor of this. No, it's like 55-45, if that. Runesmith here running into the Warlock Engineer. Now, the Runesmith, I think this is a better matchup for him. The Runesmith, of course, does not have AP, does have more weapon damage, but the AP on the Warlock Engineer can really cut through. But Ungrim is going to just have his way with that Warlock Engineer as he was planning before. The Norgrim Ironbreakers have finally gotten all the way over to the Plague Claw Catapult, shutting it down. There is this one left, and their target is now the Norgrim Ironbreakers. They'll just be able to move on over. But like I said, these guys are going to be in it to win it the entire fight. 36 models left. The Skaven are just kind of rounding up all these units of Rangers in the back line. Dude, this unit of Miners has just been at it the entire time back here. You still have a nice, good pocket of resistance of Dwarf Warriors over here. You've got the, Dragonback Slayers and Dwarf Warriors fighting off some Plague Monks and Death Runners supported by some Rangers, which is very nice here. Another unit of Rangers coming back from that far corner here. The Death Runners being put down is a huge boon to the Dwarfs. Gundabad needed to get rid of those guys because those guys can really do a lot of damage, especially to what's left here. Oh, the Duel of the Ages. Here it is. Oh no, Queek, don't you do it, Queek. Queek, we needed this. We needed this, Queek. Queek is wounded and running. Trying to use his gutter runners to kind of mitigate some damage here. Oh shit. About facing. Doing chunks of damage. 430 to 420. The anti-infantry bonus is doing way better against Ungrim than Ungrim's anti-large bonus. And man, look at that. Look at that. Each chunk of health being ripped away from the Slayer King. Queek Headtaker is taking the same head that he took during the end times. Oh, a last-minute Rune of Negation here, trying to outrun that oh my god, the trophy head, sorry, almost said Rune of Trophy Heads. Oh man, getting the rest of these Dwarf Slayers in on this, trying to help out their beleaguered Slayer King. Norgrimling Ironbreakers have now shut down the second catapult, and they are still at a hot and heavy 36 units here. This is down to the wire. The balance of power is starting to slowly now shift in the favor of the Skaven, as for every single point of health lost away from Ungrim, it then takes into consideration for the balance of power. So if Ungrim were to completely die, that would of course drastically shift the balance. But even if as he loses health, that does shift it. Yeah, the who is in whose ass now, Ungrim. The dwarf's kind of making that secondary line here again. Not sure what kind of tricks the Plague Priest has up their sleeve anymore, but this is going to be pretty interesting. Dwarf Rangers picking apart any kind of last-minute slaves here. Look at that, look at that. You're just like windmilling his weapons as he runs through everything. Knocking back those orange crests filled with troll fat. Ugh. Oh, knocking off a head as it does its death blow. This is it. This is the real fight. This is where all the marbles be at, yo. Oh, knocking everything apart. Queek is going for it. He's going for it. He's got Verminous Valor. He's got Dwarf Gouger going on. He's going directly for that Runesmith. Yes, Skaven are definitely larger than dwarfs. Depending on the size, depending on the Skaven though. A Skaven and a dwarf is about like the same size. A dwarf chieftain typically is a larger size. Oh! Oh! Ungrim falls to the mighty Queek Headtaker. The balance power drastically shifts in favor of the Skaven here. If the dwarfs can pull out a kill here on Queek Headtaker, they can win, but they are so beaten and so scarred at this point. The Runesmith is running. He's got trophy heads on him. I think that this might be a win for Gundabad, bringing us to the third round in our head-to-head here. Or no, I'm sorry. Not a win for Gundabad, a loss for Gundabad. God, the names got so confused I kept looking at the damn scoreboard. That was such a hard-fought fight. Pretty much everything is sent reeling here. Norgrimling Ironbreakers, I think, are the only thing left. Oh, no. The Dragonback Slayers are because they have Unbreakable, so they'll be into... Oh, no, no, no. Dwarf Warriors are here. Trying to get any last-minute kills they can here. Things are so down to the wire, but I think, unfortunately... There we go. Army losses should be kicking in any second now. Man. That was... I mean, even the Skaven, though, are in ragtag shape. You can see that they're like yeah, I guess we're in it. I guess we're here. But... that is it. GG to both Hadres and Gundabad. Remember, go check out Gundabad's YouTube channel. Gundabad 1 is the name of his YouTube channel, so you can go see him putting up a bunch of quick battles, plenty of content to consume. But, man, that was definitely a hard-fought fight. Those Miners with Blasting Charges did their job. 132 and 62 kills on those guys. You got quite a lot of kills from Norgrimling's Ironbreaker at 117. Dragonback Slayers, 175 kills, just ripping through stuff. But Hadri's army, I mean, dude, Queek almost had 50 kills. Then the Warlock had 50 kills. And then you look at the Plagueclaw Catapults, Man, 35 and 45. Now, Gundabad did a really good job of using the Goblobber to shut down that Warp Lightning Cannon really fast. And that was a great call here. I did not realize he had two. Oh, that's just, those are the Gutter Runners. Look at these guys. So Death Runners got 64 whopping kills. Early shutdown on the Goblobber, which is a really great move there. The Goblobber was mainly focused on artillery, so it didn't need to get a lot of kills. But man, that was a great, great last match here as we see Hadres pulling into the last slot here and winning against Gundabad. So let me do this. All right, let's get our bros in here for our best of 5, our finals here. Let me go ahead and invite in. Hadres has joined. And let's get Professor Pwn in here. Professor Pwn here to join us. Go ahead and switch to this one while I do that. All right, guys, give me just a second. Hey, thank you very much, Cincinnati. I see your donation, brother. Look at that fat $20, dude. All right. I apologize, guys. I'm going to have to do this. Oh, wow. That, like, upside down. Isn't that cool? What is going on here? Professor Pwn. This thing is going all sorts of willy-nilly. There we go. So in this best of 5. Okay, back to studio mode. Back to that. Oh man. Whew. Okay, let's take a look at our first map here. Props to the competitors and our host, oiled beard and aloe vera, scalp and all. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate it, Cincinnati. That's always huge for me, man. Let me jump down to Schwartzhafen. Give me 1 second, guys. Setting up the map so they know which map to better prepare their armies for. All right, my bros. 3 minutes. I will fix the bracket in the meantime. We'll transition to this. So, of course, this is for our warp tokens. Whoever has a warp token can then proceed on to the finals. Our first winner of the warp token is, of course, the mighty Aristodemos. Today, we're going to be seeing Professor Pwn and Hadres dueling, or squaring off for the right to have their own warp token. So what we'll be seeing here today is a best of 5 now. Our first map will be Schwartzhafen, followed by Tower of Hoeth, then Red Desert, if all things permitted, then to Oakenhammer, and lastly Pillar of Bone if we need to go to our 5th match. Roger, roger. Let's take a look at everything here. Don't think so, unless it was first match. What was the question? Has anyone picked... No one has picked Lizardmen just yet, Luke. So Hadres will be playing as the Dark Elves, and Professor Pwn will be playing as his Vampire Counts. Vampire Counts are one of his... What is this? What does that do? Oh. And as you can see here... There. No. There. Hadres. This is Hadres' name. Up there. This is Professor Pwn's name. Oh god, it's so cool. Who even takes the time to dislike? How can you dislike tournament? It's the best. Big BJ fan. I'm a huge BJ fan myself, but I think that there's just a couple people that just genuinely don't like other YouTubers, and they go on and dislike. It doesn't really affect me. We're all entitled to our own opinions, so it's not a big deal. And I am out of water. That is an unfortunate turn of events. Fuck. All right, we have 200 some odd people watching here today. Let's go at, oh, YouTube, Blowjay. Can you play ogres? Yeah, I'll do my best. Let's make sure you guys hitting that like button, doing all sorts of cool stuff. Guys, what kind of... Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, Milk and Cookies Total War. He just put up the best thumbnail I've seen in ages. He used Gundam Wing's Tall Geese as, it's his Attack of Tall Geese. It's the Trials of Zinch with SFO. And it has a picture of Tall Geese from Gundam Wing. I watched Gundam Wing as a kid, and dude, oh, I loved Gundam Wing. I remember, like, I've got both the DVD things. I think it's like an 85 episode series or season or whatever the hell. And Endless Waltz was so good. Gundam 00 is really good. Like, oh man, Tall Geese makes me wet. Tall Geese 2. Indy and I were talking about this last night. The real winner though is Epyon. You can't beat Epyon. Doesn't deserve to be as cool as he fucking is. I don't know what to say to that, Luke. That sounds very weird. Don't tell Turin, but I really like anime. He hates anime, but I like anime. Aminar, I can't do a Smeagol cast of one of these games, but I'll put up a Smeagol cast on the channel. You guys deserve it. I'll do it. I reached 30K and I keep forgetting to do a 30K exclusive stream. Like, hey guys, reach 30K. Oh, is it really? It didn't sound like it. All right, guys, we're ready to go. We're jumping in here. People said check out Gundam Seed. I didn't like Gundam Seed, or maybe it was Gundam Seed Destiny, which I think isn't even an offshoot of a Seed. Wasn't for me. Gundam Unicorn came on Netflix just recently, and I watched that for the first time, and I never saw the first Gundam Wing or Mobile Suit Gundam. Primarch series of Conrad Kurz in Smeagol voice. No, not my favorite. One of my favorite Primarchs.
He's so depressed, Precious. Where's the Emperor? Where is he? He's a murderer.
When your Blood Angel's gonna smash Turin's heretics. Who knows, Noah? The next time we meet up, I've done a lot of modifications to my army, and the last time we met, he just barely won. If I had done better Deep Strike, he's got a really good board control, because he's been looking up at a lot of 8th edition stuff, and I just haven't. And I'm so used to 7th edition rules, so I played a lot of 7th edition. And this is, I think, now my second or third 8th edition fight. So, Turin did a really good job of using his cultists to negate my deep strikes. And I'm used to deep striking on turn 1. So I'm like, fuck, what the hell do I do? Noah, if there's a return of Sanguinius, I will straight up upload a video of me dancing on my bed with just socks on. Oh, shit. Thanks, Big BJ. Did I just predict? No. Fucking Big Beej coming in with that blowjob from deep. Okay, so let's take a look at this little geometric web. So Hadres has formed up in a bit of a tight. Uh-oh, what are you doing there? A bit of a tight square. Yes, Sanguinius is dead bird. So he's got Black Guard of Nagaron. He's got the Hella Brown Eye, the Blades of the Blood Queen. Now the Blades of the Blood Queen here, we take a look. Oh, I thought it was going to be almost the entire way, but the physical resistance is going to be able to buff up everything in the back center and the front here. Now he does have Marathi, which is going to be anti-large in AP. He has a Sorceress of Death as well, and a Death Hag, and the Charybdis, which is your anti-large variant, does your poison attacks, Scissors of Singing Doom, then your Handbow Black Arc Corsairs, and then another unit of Black Guard with, Black Guard of Nagaron. Now, this is crazy. That's some memeage if I've ever seen one. Do it. All right, so let's take a look over here. God damn, my buttons. Let's take a look over here at Professor Pwn's army. He has gone with the Terrorgeist and Zombie Dragon build with Von Karstein Vampire Lord, not a named one. So, Von Karstein Lord, of course, bring... God damn it, let me go over... Let me look at you. There we go. Storm of the Night here, which is very much like Wraith Shot for the Dread Fleet, but it does quite a bit of damage. Your Ray's dead, your Invocation to Heck, and Death Resurgent. Oh, and Transformation of Cadon to summon a Vargulf, which is going to be really nice and tasty, and that's it. Now, in addition to that, front line of zombies, which is just going to, like, break upon the doors here. Oh, fanning out a little bit, trying to move his formation down. Got some zombies that are just going to be like swarming around this like a vacant mall in some sort of zombie apocalypse movie. Then we've got Graveguard reinforcing the center back line here, followed by the Sternsman on the far right, or far right, and Black Knights on both sides of the map. Yes. Oh, a nice, juicy, noxious breath into the Blaze of the Blood Queen, knocking them down to 50% health, which is just a great, great, great first move. If either of those dragons land here, though, the Cryptus is going to have them for breakfast.
Let me look at you, precious.
Zombies getting in there. They're just going to get buzzsawed by the majority of this. Oh, yeah, look at that. Bats going in, trying to just muck up those Black Corsairs with hand bows. These guys are not braced in the right direction, so this is going to be a rear charge into these Black Guard. And then followed, of course, by the... Oh, look at that, man. The Black Knights are coming in, too. Charybdis is coming in to help eat some stuff. Got some zombie summons in there. This is an interesting build for Hadres. Let's see how it plays out for him. I mean, we do have a Sorceress of Death, and I don't think that she has anything of... Yep, just a Spirit Leech. Oh! Sorceress of Death just getting punted across the way with that Terrorgeist. A Vargulf getting summoned in the back line, then getting swarmed up by the Sisters of Singing Doom, and the Charybdis getting right in there. A nice breath attack into those Black Ark Corsairs with hand bows, and then a push through that open pocket with those Dire Wolves. Woo! What a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch coming in with that zombie dragon charge. Marathi does do some anti-large, but does give it a hefty amount of damage to mitigate from the Von Karstein Vampire Lord. The drop down from the Doom Bolt from Marathi onto your Terrorgeist here, trying to help knock that apart as fast as possible. The Charybdis is eating that thing for lunch. Now the zombie dragon, everything is just so dedicated into this pocket here. This thing sees an opening. Black Knights. Oh, look at that. Dude, the Von Karstein Vampire Lord is getting focused down by Charybdis and by Marathi, and it is not going well for Professor Pwn. Hadres has got some crazy tomfoolery. The bounce power is eking now up towards the Dark Elves as the Vampire counts kind of crash upon the rocks in which are the Black Guard of Nagron, which are the Sisters of the Singing Doom, which are the Blaze of the Blood Queen, all around here. The Zombie Lord is about, or the Blood Dragon Lord, or goddamn, Von Karstein Lord is fallen, and then the Terrorgeist is soon to follow after. They both got rampage with the Sisters of Singing Doom in there. They weren't able to pull out of that fight, and it just turned to, as someone just said in chat, a death box. Man, look at that mass rampage there. That was hot and heavy. I mean, at this point, it's just a matter of just picking apart some remaining Death Guard, or Grave Guard, I mean, sorry. And the Vargulf is dead now, too. I mean, yeah, okay, there's these guys. There's the Black Knights, watch out. Bringing these Black Heart of Nagron up. They're not braced, but they don't really care too much. That was insane. And there it is, crumbling into dust. Hadres pulls ahead with the first win of our best of 5. That was really, really simple, but very impressive. Really the winner of the day there was the Marathi Charybdis Sisters of Doom combination. Of course, I completely forgot to credit the Death Hag that was in there as well, buffing things up. But everything getting in there is so strong. This is why I say the Sisters of Singing Doom / Witch Elves as a whole are great tanks. They cannot tank damage, but they can, like, when you take a look at stuff like World of Warcraft, you've got an evasion tank, or RPGs in general, and you've got, you know, like a damage mitigation tank or a health mitigation tank. When you look at a conventional warrior, that's your health or damage mitigation. An evasion tank, or someone who can lock things down without having to deal with their damage, would be the Sisters of Singing Doom or the Witch Elves. They can bring other things in there. The rampage mechanic is so strong. Woo! That was just disgusting. Oh my god. All right, let's get this next map going here. We're going to be at the Tower of Hoeth, which is fitting for Professor Pwn's High Elves. Let's get that going. Where's the Tower of Hoeth? There it is. There it is. All right, Hadres pulling ahead there. Stop it. There we go. There's more than one final? No, there's just, it's a best of 5. That was glorious. That was glorious. So it's 148. They have until 151. Big Dick Grimgor incoming. But a BGC, Big Green Cock. Blaze weren't the main threat. The witches were because he would win via cycle charge. Yes, true. Go ahead, dude. All right, everyone's ready to go. We're gonna get things all set up. That's right, he is a Black Orc, but BGC sounds funnier. BBC, that's just that's low-hanging fruit. That's a big black chariot, Cincinnati. You got to get your terminology right. All right, guys, we are in our final. We got 200 viewers. Things are going crazy here. I mean, we're making great time. We're about an encoder overloaded. Was everything okay with the stream? That was weird. OBS just released a new version that's supposed to quote unquote help out with any kind of hardware encoding via GeForce. All right, so these guys will kind of get their armies set up here. Oh, excuse me, guys. Man. Lately I've been going to sleep watching painting videos. Like, I'll turn on Duncan, the Lord of Layers himself from Warhammer Community TV, just to watch him paint stuff. And I fall asleep like oh, I'll be able to watch like one or two. You fall asleep so fast watching those. He's like, all right, make sure you bring a brush to a real good point. He's just so soothing. All right. Looks like we're kind of all set up here. Let's take a look at our armies. Yeah. We'll do 2 thin coats. Make sure water your paint's down. And I'm a master of 2 thin coats. I only do thin coats. I sometimes do fucking 5 thin coats. I'm not painting a Warhammer picture, paint a Warhammer model, my bro. Okay, so let's take a look at Professor Poe High Elves. Sorry about that, guys. So we have a kind of a conventional build here. White Lines of Trace are really good against a lot of your typical kind of Black Orc play. In addition to that, you have Swordmasters of Hoeth, which are going to be good against your... there we go. Which are going to be good against Black Orc play, but they're also going to be great against just your typical run-of-the-mill greenskin line. Now, these are mashed in between each other, so you've got 3 units of White Lions and 2 units of your Swordmasters of Hoeth. In the very front, we have 3 units of Archers with their great 180 range, and some Spearmen to kind of reinforce their backline. Once they push towards the back, Dragon Princes in the far and Illyrian Reavers to support them. Now, in the far corner, we also have more Illyrian Reavers. Now, these are not the Archer variant. These are the standard, just melee variant. The reason here, or the reason I see this to be, is because Professor Poe wants to be able to chase down any goblin firing lines or any goblin kind of mangy marauders or skirmisher cav as a whole. They have some of the fastest speed of any skirmisher cav in the game at 90. Of course, the Regiment Renown version has 105, which is the fastest the fastest land-bound mammal, like the cheetah. Now, going over our opponent here, or his opponent, I say our, because it's not High Elves. We can see that we've got some Squig Herds. Now, Squig Herds are actually pretty goddamn good here. AP, anti-infantry, they're very cheap. They're really great at cracking open the armor of the High Elf front line. In addition to that, we're going to see the Broken Tusk Mob Orc Boy Big Guns. So AP and anti-large, helping to deal with any of the larger creatures, like we have with Lariel on her Doom Pigeon. And another Wurzog showing. More Squigs, more Squigs. Oh, the Arachnarok Queen hath shown her 8th disgusting little feet. More Squigs. Look at that, 4 total units of Squigs. Some Savage Orcs. The Night Goblins on Squig, so anti-infantry and AP as well. And then even some, there are your Forest Goblins over here, and even more Squig. So this is a Squig build and a half, not a single Black Orc to be found. The unit that is very fastest, Dr. Z, is the Regiment Renown, the something in the wind. Oh, right into all of those White Lions, bulldozing them over. Even though there's plenty of shots going out, I mean, that just went right through that whole army, summoning up some spider hatchlings that can now go around. They've got plenty of targets here. The archers are really going to be busy focusing the Ragnarok Queen. That's the only big target they need to worry about right now. Hey, Turin. Thanks, dude. Turin sneaking in here with that super chat. Ragnarok going to just kind of smack some stuff apart. There is no anti-large aside from those spears in this army, so this is a very, very threatening kind of situation here. The archers are going to be the only thing that can like reliably take care of it. Squig's kind of just edging through that pocket into those archer backline. You've got these savage orcs pushing over here, looking for this other pocket as well. You do have a nice fray going on over here, but again, these Squigs are just making short work of those White Lions. Supported by Wurzog here. White Lions on this side have completely fled off. Uh-oh, nasty Skulkers coming in. Some really cheap AP units as well. Another heal going off here. Oh no! Foot of Gork smashing apart some Swordmasters of Hoeth. Alarielle on the ground trying to just help out all of her beleaguered bros here. The Night Goblin Squig Herders are just doing a number on her while the Ragnarok Queen just kind of just chuffs about on all 8 of her limbs. Let's take a look at that overhead. You can kind of see it's a shit show, so let's not look at that overhead. I like to never use that. It's really good when they're starting to clash, but not in that initial portion. Star of Avalorn kicking off, trying to get some healing into these Swordmasters, but they can't push into it. The White Lions coming back, trying to help out. Man, this is not looking too good for the High Elves. The balance of power has shifted for the Greenskins. Oh no. Archers getting pushed into by the Spider Hatchlings. Where's the horse and the rider? Oh, okay, there's those Dragon Princes. Last minute charge into these Night Goblins here. If they can really kind of push back with this, they'll be in a better Itchy Nuisance kicking off. Fist of Gork, so melee attack and melee defense and magic damage on these guys. Oh no, and the Wah finally kicking off from Wurzog across the whole army. I didn't see... Alarielle took Arcane Unforging here, so she probably used that on Wurzog. That's why he lost some health in the very beginning. That also forced a recycle on Wah and also did some great damage to him to begin with. The Green Tide, though, is just pushing crazy. Hadres is just going for Professor Pwn's throat here. Yeah, smashed apart things, those squig charges in the very front and left sides of that line. Just destroying both those units of White Lions with Trace. Valyrian Reavers coming in here with after their fights out in the battlegrounds in the forest lands. More Spider Hatchlings being brought up. At this point, though, I think that this is firmly one effigy to get kicking off right on these Valyrian Reavers. Dragon Princes are starting to lose their martial mastery. Oh no! So Foot of Gork is best used with a nice chunk of cavalry or a really dense elite infantry mob, and that was really, really well used by Hadres there. Unfortunately, Valyrian Reavers aren't the best target. Probably better on Dragon Princes, but they weren't locked down with that effigy of Git like they were. So that in that situation, man, the Doom Pigeon flocking down into Wurzog, trying to just get some sort of win out here. If they can kind of stabilize with this and knock out Wurzog and then do enough damage to the Ragnarok Spider, which has a bit of a leadership issue. 84 right now, of course, because it's all bolstered, but there's just so many Squigs in the battlefield here. Wurzog is in bad shape, but things are starting to just really rally at the edges of the conflict here. Alarielle! For Avalon! Little known fact, Alarielle is actually voiced by Joey in the CA department. Oh, there it is! Star of Avalorn into the Orc Boy Big Guns. Not their best target, but it's a glorious last stand of the Dragon Princes of Kaldor as it is. Rusty Shackleford, thank you very much, man. And there it is. The High Elves falling to the might of the Greenskins on their own turf, no less. Dragon Princes did some great damage there at 118 kills, but really, I mean, nothing really got its value in the High Elf army, unfortunately. Just the mass amount of squigs really just rampaged through that High Elf front line. That was pretty destructive. Whew! Oh, man. Let's go ahead and change that score here, and I guess I did predict a 2-0 right now. So, in what might be the last match of the day, on the Red Desert, it is Professor Pwn fighting to stay in it, and Hadres fighting to close it out. Let us see what happens. Or should Professor Pwn, not his evil cousin, Professor Pwned? Professor Phoned? What? Phoned? Like phony? It's really funny. Fat Ass Frodo brought up great name as always. Brought up a really good point. Elite Elven cavalry trained for at least 100 years, killed by some greased pigs and stomachs on legs. You know, it's a really good point because like in the lore, like, oh, the Dragon Princes, they march to battle in their gleaming armor, their armor looking like dragons, and they go and they charge and they win. And same things with like, oh, these dwarf ironbreakers, the nigh impregnable armor, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, they fought Skaven slaves the majority of the fight, and we're losing. Like, it's hard to really kind of encompass the lore, which is over the top fluffy, right? You read an army book for the respective faction, and it's like, nothing can stand in the way of the Grave Guard, and you're like, oh shit, the Grave Guard just got their asses kicked. It's like, there's always these kind of like ridiculous dynamics for things, but then when it actually comes down to it, it's like, yeah, well, they are still units in a game that is based off of chance, which is dice, where they could absolutely lose.
I've only begun.
Hey, thank you very much, Black Sanders. I appreciate your donation, dude. Black Sanders made a whopping $20 donation here. I did not see what you said, so let me bring up Streamlabs while they choose their armies. Looks like we're going to be seeing Tomb Kings versus the Vampire Coast in a bone-on-bone adventure. Let's take a look here. So guys, just kind of talking about some stuff that's coming out. Tomorrow we will have our prediction video, our DLC speculation video on the Lizardmen. And then on Friday, we will be doing some... my donations. We'll be doing some stream of Darkest Dungeon on Twitch. So if you want to watch Darkest Dungeon, you got to go to my Twitch. It is Twitch... here, I'll just post it right here. Here you go. There it is. Even Babish can't match that beautiful beard. Well, thank you, Blake. I appreciate it, man. And Teroris, you did say earlier, nothing clever to say, just enjoying the stream. Glad to see that you're enjoying it, my bro. No, it's so true. Like, every single faction has, like, the greatest of all great of the greatest. Like, yeah, like, okay, calm down. Where Space Marine just ruins a kill a can, but just not feasible. But it's just not feasible on tabletop. No, Ash, that's a great point. Like, that's another thing too. It's like the Matt Ward Space Marine porn of like Kaldor Drago swooped through the battlefield, and all 15 Titans and Chaos Legions allied against him immediately died when he snapped his fingers like Thanos. It's like, okay, you can't have everything be the best just because you like it. Which, I mean, the High Elves are the best. Don't fucking argue with me. Everyone likes Tyranids. They're the scariest fucking thing in the universe. What's your favorite guard regiment? Not the Russian dudes. The Death Corps of Krieg. Death Corps of Krieg. I've got Tyranids. I've got tons of everything. Of everything. I've got Tyranids, I've got Imperial Guard, I've got Dark Angels, I've got Space Wolves, I've got now Blood Angels, of course. I've got Orcs, actually. I actually like 40k Orcs more than I like Greenskins. Orcs with a K versus Orcs with a C. I've got some Tau. I've got actually a lot of Eldar. I really like Eldar. I love Dark Eldar. I had a concept for a Dark Eldar army Because since I have Eldar units, but not...
I've only begun.
Hey, Luke, thank you very much, man. I appreciate your donation, my brother. I had a concept for a Dark Eldar army was... Okay, rather than throwing out all of my Eldar, or not using them, I would take the Eldar and I would start to paint them somewhat Dark Eldar, or use Dark Eldar bits. The way the Dark Eldar lore worked in at least up to 6th and 7th edition, the Eldar became corrupt from the head down. So when you look at, and here's another like interesting thing, when you look at Dark Eldar, that's the Eldar that were during the fall. The Eldar of the craft world are these kind of Puritan, religious not zealots, that's a little mean, but religious sects of Eldar society that said, no, I'm not gonna, why do I have to like squeeze my nipples and buttfuck this thing? I'm not gonna do that. I'm leaving on my craft world ship. So the craft worlds are these individualized, isolated sects of the original pre-fall Eldar society. So when you think of Eldar right before the birth of Slaanesh, you actually, that's what Dark Eldar are. It's the same exact look. Just a little bit more twisted over time. But when the Dark Eldar came into being, when the Eldar were falling, it started with their tyrants, with their head people, all their leaders first, and it slowly percolated down to their guardians. So to do that, I was going to grab Dark Eldar HQs, Dark Eldar elites, but all my troop choices were going to be my kit bashed and modified Eldar units by using different spikes on them, or slowly painting their armor almost looking like if it's white armor, looking like there's something like taking over the other side of it as it kind of shifts and paints and stuff like that, like kind of symbolize that they're slowly being corrupted from that top down. Like that was my concept for a Dark Eldar army. I hate Dark Eldar, but really like Dark Eldar. I gotta agree with that, Aminar. All right, our final match of the day, maybe. We're gonna be seeing the Vampire Coast, played by Professor Pwn, versus Hadres Tomb Kings. Now, if Hadres wins this, he knocks out Professor Pwn. If Professor Pwn wins this, we're going to our 4th match, maybe even our 5th. This is a best of 5. Get Bob Ross involved. Just happy little trees all over their armor. Stop predicting. Get out of here, big blowjob. Hey, Whiskey Jack. Where the fuck have you been? You're late. You know, that's a really good point. Couch Potato brought up a really good point. Dark Eldar are the fastest, yet they aren't red. Explain that, Greenskins. There are some of them that are crimson. Alright, so we're getting set up here. It looks like... trying to see which one's set up first. Do you have a favorite guard regiment? Yeah. Did you... I was saying Death Corps of Kree. Did you hear me? I was doing a good deed in donating blood. What have you done today, Sparty? What have I done today? I've entertained over 200 people today. That's what I've done, Whiskey Jack. For free. All right, let's get this. Let's take a look here. Lord Krevnar's here. What's up, my dude? All right, so let's take a look at our army here. A lot of skeleton warriors here. We are up against Vampire Coast, so you don't need an elite front line. But Hadres did take some Tomb Guard to help out with maybe Depth Guard. If you haven't noticed, everything has a guard. Phoenix Guard, Depth Guard, Tomb Guard, Dread Guard, Tomb Guard, all guards. Grave Guard, that's the other one I was thinking of. Black Guard, Phoenix Guard, so many guards. And 2 units of Ushabti supporting these guys here to help out with really just that 1-2 punch, right? Keep this nice armored left line with the Ushabti to push through it. Some Nehekaran horsemen, which will be very strong in getting into the back line of things. These are really great, effective, really cheap anti-infantry shock cav here. In addition to that, we have 2 Screaming Skull catapults. Now, typically, or Glade Guard is another one, yes. The Screaming Skull catapult is not a very competitive pick, but it has gotten a little bit of a buff in more recent times, because it does magic damage, which is going to help us against our Vampire Coast foes. And there's quite a few of them. There's 2 of them. And we see the Roomba Master himself, Grand Hierophant Kotep, is ready to just delve out some Roomba destruction. 860 AP magic damage is nothing to scoff at. In addition to that, we do have Sandstorm, his bound ability. We'll also be having Usef's Incantation of Desiccation, which is a melee attack and melee defense reduction, and Nero's Incantation of Protection, a nice 44% physical resistance. He has his Lich Staff as well, and then his typical kit, also Covenant of Power, which helps out with his Winds of Magic regeneration. Also, it looks like we have Ushabti Great Bows here and here. Yep. Did I miss anything else? A Karn Horseman, and then some Vanguard Carrion. Give it. Who put this hill here? So, Professor Pwn's army, he has a nice little pocket of Depth Guard. Around 2 Depth Guard has kind of become the standard fare. I love these guys so much. Anti-infantry. They've got frenzy. They've got hunger. They're in it to win it when they get into close combat here. Now, you see some zombie pirate deckhands in the front row. You've got some handgunners behind them. Then you've got some mortars, carronades, 2 carronades behind them, and a gunnery white. Of course, the gunnery white here has got... Let's see which abilities he took with him, because he's got a slew of them. So enhanced ballistics, so we'll be able to increase reload and accuracy. We've got more powder, so we can replenish those ammunition. Deadeye to help out with some additional shots in AP. And lastly, extra powder, which is just the actual Vampire Coast standard thing. Oh, close range shot from Count Noctilus into those carrion. And he's going just really hard on the paint on those carronades right off the bat. And they're doing a real great job here. I mean, the Carrion are very low-cost units, but just like Harpies, they still have 40 weapon strength to the Harpies 44. So this is a really good shot here for Professor Pwn to get some good damage in onto those... some more Carrion flying over the battlefield over here into those artillery placements. There we go. So looks like we got Count Noctilus just kind of chucking about over here. Oof, the Roomba is already unleashing hell. I didn't notice the deck droppers with handguns. I mean, that they would be a good use, but right now they're just getting ripped apart by some carrion here. So what, do we have one... Oh, man. Oh, man. Professor Pwn's going to have to move up out of those heavy shots here. Noctilus is looking to try and get some shots in with his cannon. He's shooting downrange into these Ushabti with great bows here. Screaming Skull Catapults ripping back into those carronades. I mean, it is a real just artillery game here from the Tomb Kings. They're just shooting down range, using this hill to their advantage here. I think that the hill really played a number on Professor Pwn. Oh, decimating the army as it just kind of rips into everything. This is a best of 5, yes. This is the 3rd game today. Our carronade is now completely out of it. The carrion has swarmed down into this, into a lovely prickly pair of zombie deckhands with polearms, and the rest of the Vampire Coast army is making its way up the slow, treacherous slope towards the Tomb Kings. And the Screaming Skull Catapults are so cool looking. They were so terrible not too long ago, but they've started to really kind of carve out a niche for themselves. Noctilus's little new side army over here, doing what it can against these Nehekar and Horsemen, and the troops allied against them. You can see here, though, that Inakesh's Scorpion Legion is caught up with those zombie deckhand mobs. And Noctilus is... Where is Noctilus shooting? Oh, I can't see Noctilus's shoot path, or target path. Noctilus was shooting at those Ushabti Great Bows here. Unfortunately, the Gunnery White is not going to be able to do much here. The Carronade is almost... Both Carronades are now completely locked out, pretty much. The Gunnery White can move over to Noctilus and help replenish his ammunition. That's probably the only thing he's going to be able to do at this point. Ushabti are coming in here onto these Depth Guard. And just pulling back the last minute, moving over here to instead a little bit more of a squishier target with the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mob, looking to help free up this unit of Skeleton Warriors. Shots on from the Ushabti Great Bows into Count Noctilus here as he goes for a close range shot. Nope, all the way down range into those Ushabti. Really, the name of the game here is just all this range firepower allied against Professor Pwn is just knocked apart. Really what makes the Vampire Coast so strong and effective is their massive use of artillery, of gunpowder. Now that the Screaming Skull Catapults will have completely picked apart these Carronades, the rest of the army is really vulnerable to those Screaming Skulls. But the Hekar and Horsemen have juicy targets in these handgunners, just ripping through them, locking them up, preventing them from getting some shots on. Getting these polearms, though, in there to help trying to mitigate that charge as best as possible here. Uh-oh, those King Akesh's Skeleton Spearmen are going to go right for Count Noctilus here, who's now at half health and debilitated. This main pocket of Depth Guard is going to get swarmed, it looks like. Usek's Incantation is on them. They're just getting completely surrounded now by Ushabti and Tomb Guard and Skeleton Warriors. Skeleton Zombie Deckhand mobs pushing up into these Screaming Skull Catapults, trying to shut them down. Do whatever they can to kind of turn this thing around for them. And the summon of Ushabti has gone off over here, trying to get... Oh no, I think this is just a standard variation. Oh no, this is the summon. It says animated. Stable binding. I'm lying to you when I said what I said. I just realized something. Okay. And a summon up here of the Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs as just... Oh no! Noctilus falls! Plucked apart by Ushabti Great Bows and Ushabti Spears as they go right for it. Yes, the blue glow does mean summon. Indeed. I know that. Sometimes, though, it's hard to tell in those Ushabti. And there it is. Professor Pwn falls to the mighty Hadres. Balance of power shifting wildly into the way of the Tomb King. Whew. Those first two fights were pretty brutal, pretty like hard and fast, right? That was a cockfight of momentous proportions. And we have Hadres pulling ahead here with 3, or I think it's 5 unanswered wins today. He went 2-0 against Gundabad, and he then went 3 wins here against Professor Pwn without losing once. And you can see here, those Hekar and Horsemen did their job. They got in that backline, did a lot of harassment. The Carrion did a really good job of shutting down both the Carronades. The Carronades couldn't get any in. They got 1 kill between the 2 of them. And on top of it, I mean, yeah, sure, the Depth Guard killed a lot of Skeleton Warriors, but they weren't able to really kind of crack that front line and push in deep into the cookie jar of all those ranged units firing into Professor Pwn's armies. But holy crap. Khopesh Spear, same thing. Yeah, I meant Khopesh, but the word escaped me in the moment. But man, 95 kills from the Death Roomba, 58 and 27 from the Screaming Skull Catapults. It was a battle of the ages. That is going to conclude our second qualifier here today. Who put that mountain there? Oh man. So that sums us up, I believe. We are now 3-0. Hadres pulls ahead, winning a Warpstone token for himself. Let's go ahead and look at our Warpstone tokens here. Aristodemus won our first one. Hadres will be the winner of our second one. And then we will have 2 more weeks of competitions to decide who will be included in our finals of the Warpstone Cup League. That'll be casted alongside Turn as I helped him with his. He'll help me with mine. But thanks so much for joining us here today, guys. We'll do the same thing next week and the week after that. 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think that's like what? Whatever -8 GMT is. So there you go. How's it going? Cyphos, what's up, my dude? Woo! But that is gonna wrap things up for here today, guys. I'll go ahead and I'm gonna roll some credits here. Oh. Pause the queue. Unpause the queue. Roll credits. They have to be on this screen for those credits to appear. Yeah, be on this screen. But yeah, that is gonna close out our stream here today. So be on the lookout for the Twitch stream on Friday. We'll be playing Darkest Dungeon again. There is a link to that Twitch if you want to follow me and get a load of that. We'll probably be starting around like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll play for 2-3 hours. But we are looking at 2 more weeks of this. We also have our speculation video tomorrow. Go ahead and check out Professor Pwn's channel. Check out Gundabad's channel. Make sure you're getting onto all that quick battle goodness. But guys, as always, thanks so much for playing here today. Huge shout out to Gundabad, to Professor Pwn, to Hadres, and to Sarmatian, all for playing in the tournament here today. It was a great time. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And huge thank you to Luke, to Blake Sanders, to, well, does anyone really care about Turin? To Cincinnati, to Teroris. Thank you guys so much for your donations here today. But have a good one, guys, and take care.